Welcome back to the Festival of Education. We're here with Brett from Teach First, who is going to be talking to us about how he gets young people involved in teaching for other careers, and also about social mobility, which is what I believe your talk was on. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how is it that you think we can better encourage young people to think of teaching as a viable career option?
So when I started Teach First 15 years ago, I met with the head of careers at one of the top universities who said that year there were only about 3 or 4 of his graduates who went off to teach in a state comprehensive school. And he said most of them were more interested in it for religious reasons or becoming vicars or something like that. Now Teach First, we're the biggest graduate recruiter in the country. We're bigger than PricewaterhouseCoopers or Deloitte, and we're the biggest recruiter at Oxford, Cambridge, and most top universities. And the way we think it's important is everyone really should teach, and especially teach in low-income comprehensive schools where they can make a real difference as the best leadership role out there for graduates. So, teaching is a much greater leadership opportunity than being an accountant, a lawyer, anything else people might think of doing. From day one, you're leading young people to success, hopefully. You're leading people in a way that they wouldn't be able to do things on their own. If you think of your best teachers here, think of them as leaders. Think of people who are leading children or young people and teenagers, and that's what we hope more and more of the best graduates in this country do after graduating university.
We were talking just now of how of a documentary that was filmed. I think it followed a couple of teachers, a couple of young people who went into the Teach First program, Tough Young Teachers.
Yeah.
In the documentary, it showed a lot of how some of the teachers really struggled with teaching.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of people in Teach First who continue to be teachers, or do some of them drop out, or what's your kind of retention levels?
So what we ask for our teachers is 2 things. It's a 2-year placement in a low-income school, and to give your all to the young people during those 2 years, and then for the rest of your career to be focused on the needs of young people. And about 60% stay in teaching, so most do stay in teaching, and we have dozens of head teachers now. We have lots of senior leaders in schools. The 40% who leave teaching, a lot of them work in charities or in educational organizations. Here at this Festival of Education, I've already met about 5 or 6 of our alumni, we call ambassadors, who are doing different things in education. Some go in the business world and they become school governors, or they mentor kids in different ways or get their business involved. And some become entrepreneurs. A few policy people. We have our first MP after this election. Some real senior advisors at 10 Downing Street. So the idea is, you can go into lots of careers, but the main thing is we want something that you're doing to help young people the rest of your life.
You were talking of how the teachers who go into this program mainly go into low-income schools, and I know that today you've been talking about social mobility. Why is it so important to get these graduates into the low-income schools rather than perhaps more experienced teachers? Why is it that you try and get the young graduates in there instead?
Sure. And we also do get people who are older and different ages. And the idea is really to get people with a lot of energy and talent and competencies around leadership and communication skills. So it is all ages. We have some people who join the program who are in their 40s and 50s. We have quite a lot of people in their 30s and late 20s. But a majority of our group are still people right out of university. And the main thing is you need to have a sense of possibility of what's capable for these young people. So definitely one of the things which I hope is quite a lot of Wellington graduates join Teach First after university. I know we've had lots of people from the school who are on Teach First and who have done Teach First, and the old master here, Anthony Sullivan, is still a big supporter of Teach First, has done quite a lot with us. And so hopefully quite a lot of people who are watching this will be doing it after uni.
Yeah. And do you think, as you were talking of social mobility, where is it that you think the education sector is not supporting social mobility and actually discouraging it?
Social mobility is a really complicated issue in that there's so many, we call it the class ceiling, there's just so many obstacles young people have. So, the one thing is academic. Only a third of kids on free school meals get enough 5 good GCSEs, which is an extraordinarily low percentage. Even young people who do get the GCSEs, I think there's just lots of statistics that show they're less likely to get into the best universities. They're less likely, if they go to the best universities, to graduate. They're less likely, even if they get the same jobs, to be paid the same amount of money. And I think sometimes it's easy to underestimate how important connections are, how important family and friends who might help some young people understand wider issues, understand how to negotiate in work or university or apprenticeships, while lots of people in the country don't have that sort of resources around them. And schools have to make up what probably many of your listeners could get from their friends and their family and their social networks. And that's something we see time and again. I mean, two things I hear a lot from our teachers. The first is, so many of the kids I'm teaching are so much smarter than the kids I went to university with, and you know, how do we ensure they can make the most out of that incredible skill? The other thing I often hear is, wow, I can't believe these kids I'm teaching have never seen this thing that's right near here. So I was just in Blackpool, and one of our teachers said none of their kids had been to the beach, which is 5 miles away, or in Tower Hamlets they hadn't been to Westminster Museum, or just things like that. And you realize just because of their social networks and everything, I mean, this isn't true in every school, at every young person, but for a lot of the people we teach, they have a very small area that they're focused on with their social networks, and you know, they don't have access to a lot of the things and information that maybe lots of young people from other backgrounds might have.
Great, thank you so much for speaking to us, Brett.
Sure, thanks. Okay.